So let's have another little chat, shall we? I'm in a talkative, excuse me, I'm in a talkative mood today. Okay? I don't know why, but I just feel like talking. Maybe spirit has things it wants to reveal and expose and put out there. The first thing I want to talk about, have you all seen that SWV and Escape reality series R&B Queens? I love both of the groups. I love both set of women. I think that SWV and Escape, I think that they both are phenomenal women. And I really don't think neither group can be compared to the other because they both, within their own right, are fabulous and so multi talented. But what I find very disturbing is the situation between Tasha Scott and her sister Tamika. And it's really not a question of whose side that I'm on. It's more so looking at and examining how Tamika's feelings are being dismissed and how their mother, Gloria, how Gloria is taking Tasha's side in totality. And I know how that could be because I've been on that side of the fence. You feel what I'm saying? What is this? And then on top of it, I'm looking at Tasha's husband. I think his name is Rocky or something like that. I'm looking at her husband. I don't trust men with two earrings in their ears. I don't trust niggas with earrings in their ears. Sorry, I really don't. One is okay, but two is too motherfucking much. And heterosexual women, look at that. I'm not saying in all cases, but pay attention to that. If a nigga is walking around with two earrings in his ear, that should give off a red flag. It's better to be safe than motherfucking sorry. Okay? And when I just look at and examine his energy, he seems to be the culprit or partially the culprit behind the friction between her sister and her. And, I feel like this too. Tasha's a Libra, and Libras have a hard time of letting things go. Okay. And her sister is a Scorpio. Rocky is an Aquarius. I can't deal with Aquarius men. I can be friends with them, but I cannot have any type of sexual or intimate relationship with them. It would have to be a one time thing, and that would have to be it. That's all because Aquarius men can be very sneaky and sinister. And then I pulled up allegedly he has a mistress. Something came out back in December about Rocky, Latasha's husband, having a mistress. And to me, and this is just my personal opinion, I don't think he's right for her. When I look in Tasha's eyes, she looks tired and she looks like she's in pain. And I really don't think it's all about her sister and that group. I think it's a lot of internal conflict within her marriage. I really do. She does not look like a happy woman. And he looks like some jive ass motherfucking nigga. That's just what he looks like to me. I don't trust him. It's something about his spirit that I just don't trust. Simple as that. Okay? So I just wanted to say that that's my guilty pleasure. I've been watching this Escape, and I like Escape and I like SWV. It seems like SWV they've put all of their differences aside for the time being. But I hope they can get it together so they can do the SWV and Escape show. Really and truthfully, I would love to see a reality series with just the Scott sisters or maybe the entire Escape group because they have more drama amongst themselves. You feel what I'm saying? So Or maybe bring Lily on the Housewives of Atlanta. Shit, that would be good. Have Lily come on the Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know. But yeah, that's an interesting dynamic between Latasha and her sister because at many points they were really close. And Tamika is accusing Latasha and her husband of stealing money from her. And the mother is saying that Tamika is lying. She doesn't even believe her. Now, as her mother, whether you believe her or not, you should at least hear her out. But the mother, who's a Leo, from what I understand, the mother's a Leo. And see, that's what Leos do. Leos, they don't like to listen. You have the Libra, which is Latasha, the Scorpio, which is Tamika, and you have the mother who is a Leo. Okay? But the thing is that to me, she's not acting like a Leo. She's acting more like a Capricorn. Okay? She's acting more like a Capricorn. And Tamika is acting more like her darker half, which is a Taurus. But then I also see a bit of Virgo up in her as well. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like the energies are all over the motherfucking place. The energies are all over the place. But the mother, why does this keep popping up? The mother doesn't seem to be neutral. She has to be Switzerland, and she's not doing that. She's not neutral. And I don't know. I don't know about that. That situation is very, very touchy. But Latasha, I feel like you're either going to be in the group and you're going to, go along with what they're trying to get you to do, or you get out the group because you're holding the group back. You come to the meetings with an attitude. You still mad at Candy from something that happened, 30 years ago? Like, girl, either you're going to get over that or you're not. Personally, I get it, Tasha. I get it. There are some things that, as much as we want to forgive, there are some things we simply just cannot forgive. And if that is the case, if that is such the case with you and Candy, you need to let it go and move on and go ahead and do your gospel career. Because, girl, you got a powerful motherfucking voice, child. You really do. You and your sister Tamika. And I do believe that Candy was jealous. I do believe that. I believe that because Tamika and Tasha have the two most powerful voices in that group. Let's just be honest. Same with Coco and Taj. In SWV, Coco has a powerful voice too. So I just feel like, Tasha, if you can't let this go, then you need to exit the group gracefully and let them go ahead and do what they do. Tamika can take up the slack. She can do it. She'll be good. She will be excellent in taking up the slack. Candy did whatever she did or didn't do or whatever the case may be. Let that shit go. And if you feel like you have not gotten the justice that you need, then you need to get that. You need to get the justice that you need that will remedy that situation. And I personally think, Tasha, the justice is you walking away and you going off doing your gospel career and doing a gospel song like you were doing tonight. You're over there talking to some gospel people about doing a gospel record with you and your husband. You didn't tell the other ladies, and I understand that. I get that. Even though some people may think that that's sneaky or that's underhanded, but I get that because sometimes what God or the universe has for you is not for you to go out and broadcast to other people because people are player haters. People are haters. There are things I have going on right now that I haven't even told people about. There are things that I have envisioned that I haven't even told anything about. I haven't even told this knucklehead that stays with me. I ain't even told him. Because there's certain things that I'm only going to be privy to and the people that are really here to support me. And even though me and him are cool, I just don't feel like he's a great support system for me. He did something today where he lied about something today. But it's cool though. That's all well, fine, and good. Because I'm looking at this differently. Because if you can't change the person, you change how you think about it. And that's how I'm going to live my life from now on. Am I angry? Little bit, little bit. But I'm not going to get bent out of shape about it because I have bigger fish to fry. I have bigger fish to fry. And that leads me into my other topic. When I look around at the world in general, I have some stories to tell you all. DC is not an easy place to grow up in, especially if you're gay and black. And I've had a very, very tough time growing up here in DC. And I was thinking about something that happened to me back when I was probably about 13ish or whatever the case may be. I went to a school in DC, a junior high school called Shaw Junior High School. And Shaw Junior High School was a very, 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 very toxic experience for me. Um, the children there were very, very dysfunctional. A lot of them were criminals. They had been in the penal system, at that age that they were at that particular time, which was 13, 14, or whatever the case may be. And it was like being in a prison. It was not like a school. It was like being in a prison almost. Some of those dudes are dead now that I went to Shaw Junior High School. Some of them drank themselves to death. Like this one dude, I'm going to call him Lemon. Lemon, he died in 2016 at the age of he was only 36 or 37 because he had liver cancer. He drank himself to death. And although he didn't actively, harass or do anything to me, he used to make comments to me about a lot of different things, here. And this is what I'm talking about. When I went to Shaw Junior High School, it was like being in a war zone. I was around all of these dysfunctional black people, students. I went to Coolidge as well. Coolidge was a little bit better. Calvin Coolidge was a little bit better, but not much. Not much. But it was a little bit better, but not much. After I left Shaw, I went to Coolidge. So my entire time at Shaw Junior High School, I was fighting. I was fighting. It wasn't, and let me tell, I wasn't just fighting physically, I was fighting verbally. Because let me tell you, the girls that went to Shaw were bullies, and the niggas that went to Shaw were bullies too. So I wasn't in no physical altercations with any females, but I was in a lot of verbal altercations with females because they thought I was soft. And they thought that they could just say and do whatever they wanted to do to me. And once they realized that I wasn't to be fucked with, they left me the fuck alone. My first day there, this guy named Robert, he couldn't have been no more than 4 something. This guy named Robert, he wanted to have me jumped because I asked him, could he stop kicking my chair? He was sitting behind me and kept kicking my chair. And I said, can you stop kicking my chair? Now this was in the early 90s. The early 90s it was tough growing up in the DC area in the early 90s. He wouldn't stop kicking it, and I cussed his motherfucking ass out and threatened to whoop his ass. So in turn, this bitch motherfucker threatened to have me jumped. When I look at that energy, and when I really examine that energy, the energy of having someone jump, when I look at it now, because even my family operates like that. When they get mad at one person, they jump all on that one person. Or they used to do that. If they try to do that motherfucking shit now, all them motherfuckers would get checked. But they used to do that. But when I look at the situation and how I look at it now, I was like, well, damn, these people must have really thought that I was a fucking threat to them in a way. Because see, what people do is they may think that you're soft, but it's also something about you that intimidates them. You get what I'm saying? And see, one thing that intimidates people with me is that I'm not a very friendly person. I'm really not. If you're in my circle, you're in my circle. If you're not, you not. I'm not really a friendly person like that. And that's by design, and that's for survival. Because you can't really be friendly like that here in DC. You can't even be friendly with these weirdos on YouTube. I've had my share of that too. You can't even be friendly with these motherfuckers on YouTube. You'll never dox me and put out my motherfucking information and do all that weird shit and showing up at people's homes and harassing people. Because, see, I don't take stuff like that. I don't take that very, very well. And see, what I would do is if somebody did that to me, not only would I show up at their house, they're going to know that I'm there. And I'm not going to give a fuck about who's in that house. So that's why you got to be careful when you fuck with people. But anyway, back to the story. When I really sit back over the last 30 years and I look at everything that I've been through and the fact that I am still here, I'm still fucking here. No drugs, no alcohol. I dealt with all of that shit sober. And at the time that I started going to Shaw Junior High, that was around the time that my uncle was murdered. That was my favorite uncle. That was a time when I was going through a lot of transition at that time because my aunt was acting crazy and fucking simple. She put me out the fucking house when I was 12 years old for no fucking reason, all because she had a bad fucking day, all because she's fucking whatever she is at that time. And then I had to go live with my mother, and that wasn't the best situation. I came from living in the suburbs with my aunt to living in the inner city, dealing with all of these crazy ass motherfucking niggas and bitches at Shaw Junior High School. I remember this one situation that took place, and I was telling somebody about this the other day. There was this guy, and I'm gonna name his name. His name was John. I don't know if the bastard alive or not. I could care less. And we weren't friends, but we both went to Shaw Junior High School. And we ended up at the same after school program for young boys or something like that. And it was, how can I describe it? It was an African based after school program that dealt with, beating on African drums, giving libations to the ancestors, showing respect to the ancestors. That was the energy of the after school program. It was an African spiritual based program. And that is why I have such respect for the ancestors. So again, they put all of these different black teenagers who come from all different walks of life. They put all of us in this group. None of us have anything in common. I ain't had nothing in common with none of those niggas because I was never in jail. Okay? I was never in jail. I never experienced, now my mother was on drugs, but my mother always fed us. She never sold her money or her or thing, not sold her money, but she never spent up all her money to just do drugs. She always made sure that there was food in the house for us. So while some of these guys, they came from, a lot of them came from abject poverty, where instead of their mother spending money on food, she was spending money on crack and didn't feed them nothing but dry cereal and raw hot dogs And they would be lucky if they got the raw hot dogs. See, this was the life of a lot of these niggas that I had to be around. And I couldn't relate to that. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I was thinking about this situation just yesterday. And I heard someone say today in a video that I watched, they were saying that we are all not the same as black people. And that's true. I've heard people say, well, we're all family because we're black. No, we're not. We're not all the same. And we all should not be lumped together. Because I don't have anything in common with that ghetto, ratchet lifestyle. I have nothing in common with that. Now, there are fractions of my family that may have something to do with that. My father was out in the street. His brothers, they were street people, even on my mother's side. But that's not me. That's not me. It may be in my blood, but it's not me. Because there are other fractions of my personality that stick out. I'm not a ghetto ratchet person, and I don't like being lumped in with those types of people. I don't like it. That's their path, and they need to walk it, and this is mine. So this particular situation is this. I was at this after school program for, let's just say, for boys, right? And this dude, John, that I went to Shaw with, he and I were friendly. He was like, yeah, I go to Shaw too. I was like, okay. I think I've seen you before, whatever, you know. So we had transportation to they had a van. The center had a van. The center for the boys had a van. And they would bring us home. So one day we in the fucking van and John was trying to show off for them motherfucking other niggas that he didn't even really know. And me and John weren't even friends like that. But I thought he was cool because we went to Shaw. And I thought, we had some type of camaraderie. Boy, was I fucking wrong. This nigga, the thing is, when I was 13, I was kind of timid. You know what I mean? I had a timidity about me. And I know I just made that up, but I can do that. I had a timid energy, or whatever the case may be. But if you push the wrong button on the wrong day, I would go upside your motherfucking head. Like I did a couple of them niggas at Shaw Junior High School. You're not going to keep thinking that you're going to walk up on me and try to do, nah, you're not going to be doing that. So I'm sitting in front of him. He's literally sitting in the back behind me, talking loud. So I can hear him. This came out of the blue. This is why I don't trust. This is one of the reasons I do not trust a lot of black men now. I really don't. This is why I always side eye most other black men. Because I know that we may have the same skin, but we're not kin. Because a lot of them, they come from those really fucked up places in life that I can't relate to. Because I'm more boule and bougie. I'm not. That's why me and Christopher Berry got along, because we were more boule and bougie, but we got trapped on the wrong side of the motherfucking Gilligan's Island. We got trapped on the wrong side of the island. We got caught up with the wrong type of motherfucking people, even in our families. He's sitting in the back, talking to these other niggas that go to the program that we're in, talking about, and excuse my French, saying, yeah, that bitch ass nigga, he go to my motherfucking school. I should nut on his back. Like, what? I should bust a nut on his back. Yeah, that bitch ass nigga go to my motherfucking school. This came out of the blue. It was another miserable motherfucker that went to that program too. Don't know if he's dead or alive. Don't give a fuck. That's really how I feel. Most of these niggas are probably dead now. You know what I mean? And they lived miserable teenage lives. So naturally, they're going to end up like that as adults a lot of times. Not in all cases, but a lot of cases they do. There was another guy, I think his name was Deontay or something like that. I mean, the name alone makes you cringe. Deontay, he ghetto and ratchet. And I didn't like that dude. I didn't like him. I didn't care for him. He was back there talking to him. So I didn't say anything because what can you say? How do you combat that type of craziness? And when I tell you, me and this dude had no problems. And I know what people are going to say, well, Seer, he was only 13 or 14 then, but you know what? He may have been 13 or motherfucking 14, but that motherfucker knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was saying. It wasn't like he was 13 or 14 months. That nigga had a dick, he had balls, and he knew about nut. He knew about ejaculation. Maybe that's something that happened to him. Maybe somebody was compromising and doing that to him. But I can't relate to that motherfucking shit. Okay? I can't relate to that because nobody in my motherfucking family touched me or compromised me at all. I don't give a fuck what none of you motherfuckers say that if you're gay, you must have been molested. No, motherfucker, you must have been molested. And there's no shame in being molested. And I don't understand why I hear black people trying to use that or weaponize someone being molested to shame them. When half of the people that are saying that shit, they're probably perpetrators in that way. So there's no shame in that because you didn't do anything wrong. If someone molested you, that's on them. That's on them. That's not on the victim. So I don't understand why I hear certain people try to weaponize that against people. But then again, we're dealing with different tribes of people. And some of these black people are fucking evil. They have no conscience. So that is why they can sit up and say shit like that. They're just like that dude, John, who said that to me about ejaculating on my back. They're just like him. And they probably came out of someone just like that. Whether it be their vagina or their motherfucking nut. But when the reason I'm talking about this, it's a purge and it's also just going back in time and understanding what makes me who I am now. You feel what I'm saying? And those experiences, they did shape me and it prepared me for the world that we live in now. So my question is, and this is not a literal question that I expect anyone to answer, but my question is that when did we become a culture that accepted all of this ghetto, ratchet type of behavior? And why do decent people like myself and other people, why do we have to constantly be lumped in with these people? And when I say lumped in, I don't mean looked at the same as they are. I mean, why do we have to be put in the same buildings as them, like apartment buildings? Why do we have to be put in the same neighborhoods as them? I heard someone today that I watch and I love her videos. I heard her say today that we deserve a certain amount of classism. Can we bring classism back? I agree. Because there are certain classes of people, whether they be black, white, Hispanic, I don't care, that I don't want to be around. When I went to Shaw Junior High School, that was a total culture shock to me because I did not realize that peers of mine could be that vile. But I have to remember where I was in DC at that time. That's down near 7th Street, Florida Park, Leadroy Park. All of those places were really violent at that time. They were really violent and crazy at that time. And these people came from the bowels of DC, the men and the women. And I guarantee you, most of them are probably exactly the same as they were when they were 13 and 14 at Shaw Junior High School. But why do we have to keep being lumped in with these people? Because those are not my people. Those types of Negroes are not my people. They're not my people. My people don't act like that. My people are not bullies and cowards who have to jump on one person. I tell you one motherfucking thing, ain't nobody never whooped my motherfucking ass at Shaw. But I did whoop somebody's ass, this guy named Elijah. I whooped his motherfucking ass. And then, let me tell you what he did. Him and his friends and some other people that we knew that were friends with my brother. See, this dude was closer in age to my brother. I think he was maybe a few years older than my brother. This dude, Elijah or Hajj, whatever his name was. This motherfucker decided to come to my motherfucking house with his friends. And they thought they were going to jump my brother. And then I found out. It's so malevolent what these motherfuckers do. Let me tell you what they did. I found out the real reason they didn't like me. They didn't like me because I was strong. Even though I was timid, I was strong. Because out of timidity or being timid, they saw strength. See, a lot of times people call people timid or soft, but those are the strongest motherfucking people. Because when it's time to go to war, I go to war. And that includes with people on this motherfucking website if I have to. But I don't have too many issues with anybody on here. You know, because I really don't let people have that much access to me because they're crazy and they're psycho. And I don't trust a lot of motherfucking people. This motherfucker decided to come to my house where I was living at the time with my mother and my brother and thought he was going to jump my brother. They came for my brother because my brother, he knew them better than I did. Excuse me, my little brother. He knew these dudes better than I did. And they came to my house and them niggas thought they was going to jump my brother. I went downstairs with 2 long butcher knives. I cussed all of them motherfuckers out and I dared them to walk up on. It was 10 of them and it was 10 of them and it was only me and my brother and my mother. Okay? It was like 10 of them. And when I tell you not near one of them motherfuckers put their motherfucking hands on me. And I found out the reason that these niggas kept fucking with me was because they felt like they wanted me to be a part of their gang. And the fact that I resisted, I found out later on. My brother told me. I made him tell me. My brother told me. I made him tell me. I said, why are these motherfuckers fucking with me? I said, these are your friends. Why are they fucking with me at Shaw every motherfucking day? See, my brother was in elementary school, but my brother, he hung in the street a lot. He hung in the street a lot, even though he was in elementary. We're like 5 years apart. I'm the oldest. I said, why are these motherfuckers fucking with me every day? He said, well, they want you to be in their gang. And they said that you are very uppity and you're very outspoken, which is true. And that you're very, very stubborn, which is true. And they said that they don't like the fact that you beat up a Hodge, that you beat him up, beat one of their gang members up. I beat his motherfucking ass right outside the cafeteria. I knocked that motherfucker to the motherfucking ground and I tried. If memory serves me correctly, I think I tried to stab him with a pen. I think I tried to stab that motherfucker, if I'm not mistaken. That's why I say you never wake up a sleeping giant. You never wake up a sleeping giant. This is the shit that I had to go through. Dealing with these fucking niggas, and you wonder why I don't like them now. That shit traumatized me. Now, my brother maintains a relationship with some of those guys and stuff like that. You know, I mean, because that was years ago. But I don't. I don't fuck with none of them. I don't like them. They didn't like me because they felt like I was bougie. Because, see, my mother raised my brother. I was raised by my great grandmother and my grandparents. I was living with my mother at that particular time because there were some things going on in my family. And at some point, excuse me, at some point, I went back to live with my great grandmother. And that is when I ended up at Calvin Coolidge Senior High School, which wasn't much better, but it was a little bit better because at least at Coolidge, the students really didn't bother me too much. There were a couple of incidents, you know, but it was mainly the staff there that was fucking with me, like that security guard that was sexually harassing me. A whole fucking nigga that was sexually harassing me at Coolidge, y'all. He was feeling on my butt. Feeling on my butt. And this nigga was literally stalking me and I didn't even know it. One day I was out with my grandmother. We were at the store or something like that. I didn't go to school. I didn't even know he was watching me. I come back to school the next day or the day after. He said, I saw you with an old lady and a grocery cart. Who was that, your grandmother? I was like, what? I'm like, this dude watching me? Child, Coolidge is another story, child. I had a couple of stalking ass DL dudes, child. That's a whole nother story, you know? But the point that I'm making is, why do we have to keep putting up with these types of people? Why do we have to accept them? We should have to accept low-class people. If we come from a certain class, and it's not always about no motherfucking money, it's a mindset. Class is a mindset because I know a lot of ghetto ratchet people that have fucking money, but their mindset is trash. Even in my family. Even in my family. They have the money, but they don't have the class. See, I have the class, I just ain't got the money. You feel what I'm saying? There's a certain amount of classism that I require in order for a person to really be my friend. Okay? Even though me and my friend that live with me, even though we have our differences, the reason he can live with me and I can look past some things is because he has a certain amount of class. He has a certain amount of class. When I leave out of my house, I ain't got to worry about him stealing anything. I don't have to I don't have to lock nothing up. There's a certain amount of class he has. Number one, he's not from DC. He's from San Francisco. He's a totally different type of energy. He's not like these DC motherfucking niggas. DC motherfucking niggas, you got to lock your door. You got to lock your drawers. You got to lock up every motherfucking thing because they come from a different classism. Even though I was born in DC, my family is from Kentucky and Virginia. And you know, Virginia has a certain amount of class and a certain amount of they call it the what do they call it? The Commonwealth. There's a certain amount of wealth and class that comes with that. And some kind of way we got shipwrecked on the wrong side of things. But I'm about to correct that. But that dude, John, that did that, he's the same type of person that would be, I haven't ran across him in years. He might be dead or in jail. Quite frankly, I don't give a fuck which fate he found. I don't care. But people like that, this is what society supports. This is what society shows their love for. They show love for that type of trash. They uphold those types of people. The Johns, the Elagis, the perverted security guards. And by the way, let me tell you about that security guard at Coolidge. The motherfucker is still working there. Now, did I ever tell anybody that he grabbed my butt? No, because I was a bit confused. Number one, I wasn't out the closet then. I mean, I knew I was gay, but I wasn't out the closet then. And two, how was I going to tell somebody that he did that when he was supposed to be straight? I remember another time where the captain of the fucking football team, I don't know what it was with them dudes at Coolidge. They was always grabbing my butt or trying to touch my ass. The captain of the fucking football team. His name was Harold. Yeah, I'm gonna put him out there. Harold. We in the fucking classroom. He come up and hit me in my butt. And didn't think that I knew that he did it. Even though I did kind of like it, though, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? That's why I had no problem with it, because he was fine as a motherfucker, you know? But I was like, really? I was like, really? But when I really just think back on all of these events, again, why do we have to accept these types of people? Why do we have to accept that? Why do we have to accept this ghetto ratchet culture? I remember one time when I called this business years ago, and this girl would answer the phone. Her name was Shatasha. Again, these ghetto ass motherfucking names, Shatasha. And I didn't know who she was. I never really had I didn't know who she was answering the phone. And she told someone that I gave her a hard time when I would call the office. And the person told me, be nice to her. She's had a hard life. Who the fuck hasn't had a hard life? She ain't the only woman that done had a hard life. The fuck? And why should I be nice to someone, male or female, who's not nice to me? Why should you be nice to somebody who is not nice to you or who does not extend that to you? But that's the culture that we live in. We have to be nice to Johns and Shatashas. But these motherfuckers don't be nice to nobody. No, it just don't work that way, because if you're not nice to me, I'm definitely not going to be nice to you. If you don't show me respect, what the fuck makes you think I'm going to show you respect? That's a two-way fucking street. But again, we live in a culture that supports and upholds ratchet ghetto behavior. And they try to stamp out or X out the more boule and bougie type of people. And they know who you are. They know who you are. They know exactly who you are. So what they will do is they will set up situations to humiliate you. I've been humiliated. I've been degraded on so many different levels by the black community, the ratchet black community. And ratchetness is how can I put it? Ratchetness is multicultural, and it's very diverse. That's the word I was looking for. Ratchet, not multicultural. Ratchetness is diverse. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't have a certain whatever to it, because you can have money and be ratchet. There are people in my family that have money and they're still ratchet. I love them, but they're ratchet. Class is a state of consciousness and a state of mind. Class has nothing to do with how much money that you have. Any fool or idiot can make them some motherfucking money. But do you have the class to go along with it? That's just like in the movie The Help. Let's be motherfucking honest. In the help, all of those women that were in that circle, Hilly, those racist women, even though they were racist, they came from a certain amount of class and prestige. Whereas I forgot her name, that woman that Minnie ended up working for. That woman that Minnie ended up working for after she left working for Miss Hilly because she shitted in Miss Hilly's pie. You know, the woman that she ended up working for, the blonde-haired woman that looks kind of look like Marilyn Monroe. Even though she was a nice person, the women didn't want anything to do with her because they considered her white trash. She had a lot of money. She married rich, but she still did not have the class. She didn't have the class. And she didn't come from that boule line. And that's the whole thing. And I understand how I get what they were saying. We don't want anything to do with anyone that's not of our class. Why should we have to keep taking fucking scrubs in? You bring them into your motherfucking circle, and what do? They cause motherfucking confusion. They cause motherfucking chaos. For women, you bring another woman who's a scrub into your life. You try to befriend her. You got something going on with in your life. You drive, you got money, or you just have a certain amount of class with you. You try to bring somebody into that. You try to, put them up under your wing and show them support. And what do? They start being jealous of you. They start giving you the evil eye. They start fucking your man behind your back. Same thing with men. You bring certain men in your motherfucking life, and I'm gonna use, since I'm gay, I'm gonna say another, dude who's in the community. You bring them into your life trying to befriend them, and what do? They start betraying you. They start staying out all night, even though you and that person was having sex, but then they start flipping the script on you. They start degrading you. They learn your weaknesses and they think that they can attack you when they're really jealous because they don't know how you've been a rock for all these motherfucking years, no matter what people have thrown at you. And yes, I'm talking about myself. This is what niggas do. Why should we have to keep accepting these types of fucking people? I think scrubs and scrabs and scabs and crabs and scavengers, we should leave them where the fuck they are at. Money don't make you have class. Money can make you look like you have it, but money does not make you or give you class. Your state of mind gives you class. You could be a bum on a motherfucking street and have more class than somebody in a motherfucking mansion. It just depends on what type of bum you are. And you even see it in the motherfucking conscious community. A lot of those motherfucking niggas are ghetto and they're ratchet and they have no class. And that's why they really turned on me. That's why they really turned on me, because I have characteristics of class and integrity. And even they said that. Their words, not mine. And they're absolutely right. I don't turn on people for no reason. But black men always turn on me. They always turn on me. That's how they do. Because black men are deceptive and they're two-faced. And I don't want to be a part of any deception and two-faced types of energy. But that's how they are. They like you, but as soon as you start showing up being real, then that's when they become fake. Because they're ghetto, they're ratchet, and they're classless. And you cannot expect ghetto, ratchet, classless people to be real, because most of them are not real. Most of them are fake. And most of them are dangerous people that you can't fucking trust. And one or two things will happen. Either they will get a charge for doing something to you, or you will get a charge for doing something to them. Just like, I was telling you all to check out J Love 47 and the situation that he's in right now. J Love 47 has class. He has class. And the problem is that some of the people that he befriended, because truthfully, he kind of reminds me a lot of myself, where you try to befriend people who don't have as much class as you, but you still give them a chance. I don't give too many people motherfucking chances now, unless I'm getting something out of it. Okay, I'm meaning some damn money. You know what I mean? Or some exposure that will put money in my pocket. But anyway, he reminds me a lot of myself, but he's a little bit more talented than I am. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. But I'm not a jealous person. I can always look at another person and say, you know what? You're a little bit better than me in that motherfucking area. I can do that. But there are things that I'm better at. You feel what I'm saying? But just like with J Love 47, a lot of the people that he tried to befriend, they ended up betraying him. So that's why a lot of times I really can vibe with what he's saying. Like, dag, I did such and such for you, and then you turn on me, you lie on me, you lie to me, you betray me. So I had an early start. That is why I don't go through a lot of that shit in my adult life, because I already had a head start when I was a teenager, and I already knew what to expect. I already knew that I could not trust niggas, and you can't trust them. That's just what it is, and people can get mad all the fuck they want. When you're nice to them, they betray you. I didn't do nothing to those niggas over there in that conscious community or that magical occult. I did nothing to them. They turned on me for no fucking reason. All because I asked a question. All because I asked a question and they turned on me. But when I put everything in totality, I get it. Because that's their nature, because they were not my people anyway. Them niggas ain't my motherfucking people. They may be my skin, but they are not my kind. They may have the same skin, but they not kin. They ghetto and they're ratchet and they're classless. And there's a certain amount of class that I do have. Even though I can get on here and cut up and cuss like every motherfucking body else, but there's a certain amount of class that I have. And I'm not going to sacrifice that for nobody. And that is what I'm saying. Why should we keep accepting this type of classless fucking energy? Classism is necessary on a personal level. I have a right to discriminate and say, I don't want that type of motherfucker around me. I don't like that type of motherfucker. I don't want to befriend him or her. I don't like them. Most of the time it's him. I don't want that type of person around me. I don't want to be your motherfucking friend. I don't like you. Stop trying to be my motherfucking friend. I don't like you. You are beneath me. I think we should be able to say that without being ridiculed and judged. Or you're uppity, you're mean. So what? You do it to me. If they would do it to us. And somehow these types of ghetto ratchet people, they think because they have obtained certain things in life that somehow buys them class. Again, class is a state of consciousness. And a lot of them don't have it. Having a government job does not mean that you have class. Owning a house does not mean that you have class. Having money does not mean that you have class. It may get you to the door, but bitch, it will not open the motherfucking door. And that's real motherfucking talk. It will not open the door. And I just felt like talking about that because, in this culture that we live in, that type of shit is upholded. That type of shit is supported. That type of shit is promoted. And we have a whole culture of classless people that's leading the people who are supposed to have class. A lot of these people that have the shit that they have, they stole it from other people. Just like I'm gonna be honest with you, going back to be honest with you, totally honest with you, going back to Xscape, the group Xscape. Truth be told, Latasha and Tamika should be in the position that Candy and Tiny is in because they are the two best vocalists. They are the two best singers. Now, I'm not saying that Candy can't sing, but she don't sing better than Latasha and Tamika, and she knows it. But see, Candy comes from one of those families too that is ghetto and ratchet and classless. They just have money. And people have mistaken people with money for having class. That is where things get lost in translation. That is where things get lost in translation. Just because you have money don't mean you got motherfucking class. And I just feel like, and what I know is that we should not have to accept that type of fucking behavior. There should be boundaries. Certain types of people should not be able to live among certain types of people. But they put this is what they do. They put black people, they push us all in the same fucking area. They push us all in the same fucking can like motherfucking sardines. Just let them niggas live over there. Let them kill each other off. And then once they kill each other off, we'll move in the Asians and the Latinos and the Mexicans and the Ukrainians. It's all a big motherfucking game. A lot of the people that I live around, some of these motherfuckers don't even deserve to live in a good neighborhood like this because they're crackheads and they're fucking weirdos. Crackheads should not be able to live in decent suburban areas. They should not. Ghetto, classless people should not be able to live in suburban areas. They need to put them over there in Potomac Gardens, over there in Southeast DC, where they can live in their own habitat. And I don't give a fuck who gets offended by what I'm saying. Because the more and more, and you got these bleeding heart liberals, oh, we got to have compassion for them. But yeah, the more and more compassion that you have for them, they come into your neighborhoods, they destroy them with drugs, crack, prostitution, pedophilia, harming children. The more and more compassion and the more we turn a blind eye. That's why I say liberals are sick. Black ones and white ones, they are sick. Black liberals are some of the most nastiest. They're some of the most homophobic. They're some of the most intolerant. They are, not only are they classless, they are classist. And a lot of them are classist and they don't even belong in the positions that they're in. We should be classist against them because they are dangerous people, because they make decisions that affect the rest of us. Oh, well, they have to have a place to stay too, even though they're on drugs and on crack, and even though they're dysfunctional, and even though they're bringing crime to the neighborhoods, and even though, even though that, they're robbing and beating up old ladies and smoking crack, and crack is an illegal substance, but it's okay. Everything's okay. It's okay. Until it comes in their neighborhood, right? No, we're not all the same. We're not all the same. Anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Just thinking about everything that's happened over the past 30 years and what has made me into the person that I am now, and the things I've experienced and the things I've seen, and how I have seen the worst in Black men and Black people and the Black community in general. And I continue to see the effects of this system that pacifies and coddles these types of classless people, like your Johns, like your Lemons, like your Ahajes, like your Shatashas. Fuck out of here with that shit. Anyway, that's all I have to say.